This is Mitch, and welcome to the 1000houses.com podcast. I'm here with a very successful guy named Mike. Mike owns this company, and this company does some wonderful thing for real estate investors. I mean, it does some really crazy stuff. I don't know if you know it or not, but I actually bought my first 100 houses on credit cards once upon a time, about 25 years ago. I was just doing something out of common sense that I knew how to, that I saw was a possibility. Of course, back in the day when I did it, they didn't have all these algorithms, and they weren't checking to see how much unsecured credit you had available to you. And basically, back in the day that I did it, if you had a good credit score, you just applied for the card, and you got everything that card had to offer, and you got the best card, and you got all the cash advance rates. Since then, let me digress. I recognized that I could get about $800,000 on my kitchen table if I applied for every credit card I ever set my hands on, and then went out and got the cash advances. And it also dawned on me that I could walk off with that and go to Mexico and not pay them back, and they didn't have anything to take away from me except my good credit score. And a lot of people would sell their credit score for $800,000. I wouldn't. I don't want to live like that. But apparently a lot of people did do that. And so they made it a little more difficult these days to get your hands on unsecured debt. And so what Mike specializes in is helping people use credit cards in business lines of credit in all different ways to get your hands on some cash, some borrowed money that you need to pay back, you should pay back. But it's a lot of times unsecured. A lot of times it's at 0% or 1%, or, because when you get these introductory offers, they can be 0% interest. And I did a lot of that and I still do a lot of that. So this is a long-winded way to say this guy right here, Mike, you're going to want to know him. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Doing good, Mitch. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. So give us a little bit about your background. Tell us how screwed up your childhood was, and then let's figure out how you got here.
All right. Well, it all started when I was 5 years old. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, I've been in this industry for 10 years now. We've established over $1 billion in zero interest business credit. That's what we focus on, zero interest for an average of 12 months. We work with all the major banks here in the country. And within the first 3 to 4 weeks, our clients receive the funding in their hands, assuming that they qualify. And the qualification is super simple. It's just about their credit score. So within the first 3 to 4 weeks, you can get up to $100,000. And over the course of the 12-month membership, people are getting up to, and sometimes over $250,000. And a lot of our clients are in real estate, doing real estate deals, and that's what they're using the funding for. But when I got started with the company, we were super small. We had a couple employees at that point. Now we have over 55 employees. We're on the Inc. 5000 list 5 years in a row, going on 6. We got over 2,400 positive reviews with a 4.9 rating. And we're just continuing to grow our team and do more volume every month. We establish about 10 to 15, depending on the month and the way the banks are responding, 10 to 15 million a month in credit that we're establishing for our clients. And I run the company now with Ari, who's the CEO. And we have great relationships with guys like Mitch. And I think you were saying before we started, you've sent us like 400 clients since we started about 5 years ago, right?
Last time I looked, it was at 437. And the reason why that happened is, one is I know the power of what you do and how important it is as a young investor, because I was one once upon a time, didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Where was I going to get some money to even turn around with? I just needed something to work with. And so when I met you guys, I saw immediately an opportunity for my audience, because a lot of the people in my audience are just starting out, and that means they're starting out broke or with very little cash. And I just recognized that this is a good marriage, and I wasn't wrong, because you use these strategies the right way, and you have a little bit of juice to get you over the hump, i.e. some money or some cash. You don't need that money out for a long time. You just need it for a little bit. And the problem is where do you get it? And you guys were solving the problem. So it was no surprise to me that a lot of my listeners tuned in to what you're doing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, especially when you're younger or you don't have as much funding on hand. You don't want to come out of pocket.
It's really about the confidence, because I see a lot of people, they miss the acquisition because you can see in their face that they're worried about where they're going to get the money, and they don't want to
Yep.
promise this seller and sign the documents because they're petrified that they're not going to be able to honor their word and close this deal. And it shows up like, through the air. You can pick up the vibe. And so when you have this money in your back pocket, and you go, I know exactly where I'm getting the money. You're walking in to buy the house now with a whole different confidence level. I can close in 4 days, sir. Yes, sir. No problem. Absolutely, I can. It's a whole different attitude.
Yeah.
And the sellers pick up on it.
And the cool thing is, you're a cash buyer when you walk in that door. A lot of wholesalers say that they're the cash buyer, but even whether you're a wholesaler, you're doing owner finance deals or flips or whatever, if you have the credit, you are the cash buyer, because you can send a wire transfer from the credit account that we set up to the title company and close just like a cash buyer would, because you got that wire transfer ability. Because we have a partner that we work with who will basically charge your card and then send the wire to the title company or the contractor or any place of business.
For that matter, if it's a 0% interest for a certain amount of months, you just transfer it to your bank and show the guy your bank balances. It's right here, so-and-so bank. Look, I got the money, no problem.
Well, that's a little trickier. They don't just let you transfer the credit to your bank account, because that's like a cash advance. But our partner is called Plastic, and there's also another partner that we have called Melio. They're basically set up as like a bill pay service in a sense. But what they'll do is they'll charge your credit card. You'll pay them like 2%, 2.85%, and then they will send the wire to the title company. So Melio or Plastic charges your card, and then they send the wire to the title company. That's how it works, because you can't just take the credit and put it in your bank account. It might have been that easy, a while ago, but it's not that easy anymore.
Mike, guess what? In my younger days, I just still figured out how to get it done, but don't worry about it. I don't need to now.
Well, I mean, some of the banks still do allow you to do a balance transfer, but not all of them allow for that. And, and so what we've found, even like looking at the balance transfer side, using the wire transfer is the easiest, and it only costs 2.85%. So you set up with Plastic, then you add your title company to your pay to accounts, and then Plastic charges your credit card and then sends that money to the title company.
And
so that's the way we see a lot of people doing it.
That's a good plan. That's a good plan. We won't trip over the minutia, because some of the things I did back then, like you said, they can't be done now. So I used to buy houses on my credit cards, but that was 25 years ago. Houses in San Antonio were $15, $20, $13, $12, $10,000, and then even 15 years ago, I was buying mobile homes for $6,000, $7,000, and seller financing those or flipping them. Today it's a little more expensive, so you can still buy houses on credit cards, but there's just much bigger numbers. But there's a whole other ways to use it, like in the rehab. A rehab's 20 grand, 15 grand, 30 grand, 45 grand. These are credit card numbers, and I have a hard money loan business. And maybe some of those customers, those 430 plus customers I sent to you, they're probably from my hard money loan business, because they would come in and they would want, $75,000 loan on a $100,000 house. But they were buying the house for 50 and they needed 25 for the repairs. So I don't want to be into $75,000 on a $100,000 house that the repairs hadn't even been done yet, that I was going to have to, watch that 25,000 to make sure it went into the house. And I would just talk to them and say, why don't you call my friends over here and get a low interest to 0% credit card and get the rehab off of that? Now I only have to loan 50,000 on this house that's going to be worth 100. And if they blow the rehab money or something, it wasn't on me, it was on their credit cards, and they were better off, because my hard money loan business was charging them 15%. And that credit card was charging them 0 or 1 or 2, nothing really. And so it worked out good, and it helped me make a lot of loans that I probably wouldn't have made with your help. You didn't even know you were helping me do this stuff, did you?
Not directly. I didn't realize you weren't like, hey, Mike, I'm sending over,
No.
Yeah.
I was being
Yeah, I didn't.
facetious. I mean, like you've been helping me a lot in my hard money loan business just because you're there and you do what you do.
No, I was going to say, and it lowers risk for you and for the client. They're paying less in interest, so they're saving more of the deal, more of the profit. So it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. So tell us about, this doesn't have to just be for real estate people. Tell me of a non-real estate related person who used your service to get the funds to be prolific and make some money.
Oh, perfect example. We just had a client here who owned a restaurant, like a barbecue restaurant, and they closed down in June of last year because of COVID, but they happened to be Ari's neighbor. So they found out about using business credit, and now they bought the food truck that they have out there. They bought it for like $50,000. They bought it with the credit we got for them just by using the plastic partner who can send the wire. That's how they bought the truck. And now they've got less overhead. They're not paying rent anymore on the building that they used to have. And they're doing close to the same numbers that they were doing when they had the restaurant. Now they're doing more events. They're doing more catering gigs. So we just did an interview with them a little while ago. But other types of businesses as well, like restaurants and also like Amazon businesses, just like truck drivers. I've interviewed a guy who started with one truck. Now he has 10 trucks because of the credit he got with us. Just any type of business though, like, local type businesses,
Wow.
doctors, lawyers have used this.
Like you said, the Amazon businesses, I just interviewed Ann Sieg, who does online Amazon third-party sellers, and they need money to buy product. This is a great way to snag some extra inventory during the hot time, instead of having to watch all those customers walk by or not have enough during your high season or whatever, to buy some more inventory with this kind of stuff. It's really exciting. So what kind of credit score does a person need to get started with you?
So ideally like a 720 and up, but there's a little more to it than just the credit score. But if you're around a 720 and up, you should be pretty close to qualifying as is. There's other things that we look at, like debt to credit ratio. We want that to be at about 30% of your total credit limits. That's where your debt should be, at 30%. You don't want to have a bunch of new accounts, like credit card accounts. It's okay if you got one new credit card account, but if you've got like 3 or 4 new credit cards that are showing on your personal report within the last 6 months, then usually you want to wait. So there's just a couple things like that: credit score, debt, new accounts, negative accounts. And that's pretty much it. If your credit's overall in decent shape, you got a couple major bank credit cards open that you've had open for a couple of years or so, then you qualify. If you've only got a $500 Walmart card and a 680 score, then you're in a limited situation. So we would need you to grow your personal credit a little bit. We help with that as well, though. We'll get people personal credit in the beginning if they're super limited, because in order to qualify for business credit, you have to have a strong personal credit profile consisting of a couple major bank cards, 720 score, about 30% debt to credit.
Okay, so let's do this. We could go into all that, but that'll boggle the average guy's mind. You're a professional at this. These words come out of your mouth like, water down out of a hose. But let's just send them over to 1000houses.com/fund now. And over there, you'll put in your range of credit score, and then a consult will come size up and see where you're at and tell you how it's going, what you need to do, or what it's going to take. And I think that's the best way to do it. Go there. You got to know what you got to know your 3 credit scores.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a general idea, most people nowadays know like where their credit's at. So it'll ask you, is your score between a 680 and 720 or a 720 and 780? So they'll pick a multiple choice, and then somebody will call them from our business development team, and we'll go over your credit report. We'll go over the program, and we'll also give you like a pre-qualification, kind of like a strategy session or a consult. It's totally free though. So if you guys go there, you'll learn about your credit, you'll learn how much you qualify for, and how you can use it in your business. And the call isn't going to be usually just a quick call. We'll get on the phone with you and go over everything within your business and with your credit, so you guys fully understand what we can do for you guys.
Okay. And I want to point out, I have been through your company's, the whole course of things that we need to do. I've gotten business lines of credit. your company's really professional, and I've heard it from a lot of the students that I've sent there and stuff. It's very professional. Like, you guys don't drop the ball. If you don't make it to where you're going with this company, it's because you didn't do it, because their follow-up is relentless. I can attest to it. It's like, damn, these guys are not letting me sit. They're gonna get this thing going. And
well, you know why? It's partially because we're a done for you service. So we have to do what we have to do. And sometimes we need to speak with the client. We need information, but because we're doing all of it completely done for you, it's not a course, we're doing it. So we have to get info from you guys sometimes. But other than that, like, just basic, like, quick phone calls or having you fill out your information as a client. And then we kind of take the ball and run with it. We set up the accounts. We do all of the communication with the underwriter at the bank. We negotiate each account. So we increase the account. If they deny you off the bat, sometimes that happens. We increase those accounts, or we overturn a denial. And then if it's only a small limit, we'll increase that to like $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 sometimes with each bank that we apply to.
Okay, so I said I went through the course with y'all. I just meant I went through the course of things I needed to do to get where y'all needed to take me. So it's not.
I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah. I want to make sure too. It's a done for you business, but they do need to talk. You do need to give them information, and if they hit certain blocks or obstacles, they may need to call you and say, "Hey, what's up with this?" or "Can you help us with this?" My point was, you guys don't let any grass grow under your feet. You're right there, the next step. And like, when I wasn't showing up, like, okay, I'll do that tomorrow, and then I didn't do it tomorrow, your guys were on the phone like, "Hey, what's up? We're waiting on you." So it's really neat. Last I heard, you could get up to $240,000 worth of unsecured credit advance.
Yep.
Is that still the same?
Yeah, exactly. Like up to $250,000, but a lot of people do get more than that. Some people get less than that. Just kind of depends on where your credit is at when you start. But I was telling you about a client of mine who, his first year, he had over 200,000. And after working with us for 2 years, we've established just for one person over $500,000. And I've interviewed him, and he told me how he was able to 10x his revenue. Like, it sounds like cliche or an exaggeration, but it's not. It's exactly what he told me. He went from doing 40,000 a month to doing 400,000 a month, wholesaling real estate nationwide. He's one of the few that are doing it, like, in every state across the country.
So let's think about that. If you're a wholesaler and you've got a $150,000 house under contract, or that you can sell for 180, there's 30,000 on the line there. If you have to really, as a wholesaler, you're just trying to operate between the time you sign the papers and the 30 days you have to close, or the 15 days that you have to close, you may have to take a substantially less profit because you don't have time, but when you have this funding source over there, you can just take the property down yourself, take it in, get it, slow the hell down. Who knows? You could put it up for 200 and see if a Floridian comes by and pays too much for it.
Or you mean someone from California?
Yeah, well, I know that's where I was going, but then I thought, you're from Florida. Yeah.
I know.
A Californian.
But, you're right though, because I personally experienced that. I was wholesaling deals. I hadn't really done any fix and flips, and I got tired of having a deal under contract, and all my buyers basically wanted to pay what I had it under contract for, right? So I was like in a tough spot. I couldn't get rid of it. So
and
it's
they
like,
and they knew you were running out of time. They knew you were running out of time.
And I didn't want to come out of pocket all the time. And finally, I had a deal. The seller had multiple contracts at the same price. I sent it out to my list. I couldn't find a buyer, and I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I'm keeping this. I'm just going to do the flip. I'll get my feet wet. It'll be my first one. And I ended up making like 35,000 net after expenses, and I only paid like 65,000 for the property. And I only had to put in like 25,000. And so it wasn't like a huge project, but that deal would be, you'd be passing that by if you were a wholesaler who didn't have the cash in the bank to actually close the deal yourself. And if you can't find a buyer, but it's a deal, it's kind of like a catch-22. You got the deal, but you can't find a buyer. So you just let the other guy get it that already gave the contract, the other fix and flip guy, or do you keep it and make the money?
Or you decide that you're going to partner with a guy with the money and you lose 50%. That's expensive
Right.
money. That's really expensive money. You would have lost 50% of 35,000 just because you didn't have the money and you had to partner up with someone that did. So this makes perfect sense. I mean, I don't even remember anymore. I know what it was, but I don't know what it is now. But I'm going to tell the audience this. I remember what they were charging last year. I don't know that that's what it is or it isn't, but it doesn't matter. Whatever they're charging for this, and I know the range, it pales in comparison of what you make when you know how to use it. So if you know how to use it or know how to find deals, having this money in your back pocket or this availability of funds that is so cheap, it's worth the homework. Here's what I'm going to tell you. This is what a lot of you are going to do, and it's going to be a mistake. You're going to sit around and wait until you lose a damn deal that could have made you $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. And then you're going to go, damn it, I should have got with Mike. I should have got with that company, and I should have been ready because I wasn't ready, because I hadn't laid the groundwork and done my homework and done what I needed to do. You lost the damn deal. Or you're going to have to split that deal with someone, and that's going to cost you way more than meeting with Mike and Ari, way more. So please, I want you to go to 1000houses.com/fund now. I want you to get your consult, give them your range of credit, tell them about, your credits between here and here, and then they're going to size you up. And don't wait till there's a deal sitting right in front of your face, because deals don't hang around long. And so you need to be ready and have all this stuff in place when you're done before it happens. And I promise you, I'm going to get emails from people right now who say, I should have listened to you. I should have got off my ass. I didn't do it. And I lost $40,000 because I wasn't ready. And so
it's so true though. It's not, it's actually really good advice, because I've seen it happen. I've seen like hundreds of my clients that never did a deal before. They got the credit and they went and did their first deal. One guy I interviewed, Maurice, he bought his first 6 investment properties, all with the credit we got for him. He got some really killer deals. He got like a 4-property package for like 68 grand. So it depends on the market you're in and all that, how much you can actually fund, how much can you buy outright, how much do you have to use hard money half and use the credit on the other half, or whatever it is. But this is definitely something that is going to change the way you respond to the deal. If you have the credit available, if you have the money, you're going to go in with more confidence, and you're going to actually take action on a deal instead of thinking, oh, well, I don't have enough money in the bank and I don't have the credit. I don't really have a hard money lender yet, or maybe they do, or whatever it is. It just gives you that. It really does. Like, if you guys look into it, you'll see, like, if you look into what we're talking about, it's a very possible thing. You can use credit to buy a house or to at least fund half of it.
The crazy thing about it is it's 0% half the time, or 1% or 2%. It's stupid. It's just stupid, and it's damn near free. I mean, I'm right now, going to refinance my house with the local credit union down here. They want to charge me 3.6% interest. To me, that's like free money. I mean, 3.6 is like,
it's like they're basically paying you. They're basically paying you to go out and do the deal. Yeah.
And so check it out, man. 1000houses.com/fund now. There's a lot of ways to use this kind of money. And just always be responsible, do the right thing, but be ready. So when a deal comes by, you can pull the trigger. It's just having an extra tool in your tool belt. It's just, you're going to have one other tool in the belt that when a certain, when a certain situation shows up, you're going to be able to capitalize on it because you got that tool in your belt. So I don't know I can't be any more enthusiastic than I am, because I already know you guys. I know how it works, and I know it's helped a lot of people. Anything else we need to mention before we wrap it up? I don't want to cut you short, but it's just pretty simple.
Short and to the point is fine. Like, I would say, if there's any wholesalers that are in your audience, I used it personally for my marketing budget each month. I was just way more aggressive, getting more lists, sending out more direct mail. And so you can use it for marketing. You can use it to buy the property. You can use it for payroll. You can use it for, property management, to pay off pretty much any of your bills you can use it for. So if you can't find a use for it, then it might not be a perfect fit for you. I don't know. But if you're doing deals, if you got a business, it should be very glaringly obvious that you should use business credit, because we didn't even talk about the fact, I don't think we talked about the fact that the business credit doesn't show up on your personal report. Yes, they qualify you based on your personal score, but the business credit doesn't report there. So when you are spending 50 grand, 100 grand on the business credit, your personal score is going to stay nice and high. So if you're a buy and hold investor and you like to do a cash out refinance on your deals, you can use the credit to buy the deal as a cash buyer. Now the debt's sitting on your business credit, not on your personal. So when you go and do the cash out refinance, they're looking at your personal credit, and the cash out refi goes through very smoothly. And I've interviewed people, they've told me that point blank, that they were able to get the refi done way easier this time, because now they don't have a bunch of personal debt on their personal report. They have that debt on the business report where it belongs. But there's a lot of different benefits. But yeah, I mean, I think we pretty much covered everything.
Well, that's good, man. That's good. I forgot to even mention that a lot of times it's on the business report. So, man, I really appreciate you being on, Mike. I invited you down to my, I've invited you down to my place. I hope you come visit my little ranchito down here in Texas. We'll have some fun. And you know, I can't invite the whole world, but like you've done so much for my customers. You've done a lot for me. You do a lot for your community. I think you're having a blood drive right now, right?
Yep. Yeah. We're also giving away free memberships. We're giving away 2 memberships every month this year because of the pandemic and, you know, the business is struggling and all that. So we're trying to give back. We're still growing. You know, the demand for funding is still there. So we haven't been struggling, but we're trying to give back. And we're all about helping people and being of service to other people.
Okay, so tell me about the 2 free memberships that you're giving away. This is a substantial savings, by the way, because they do a great service, and it costs a little something. This man, whoever gets the 2 free memberships are good.
I forgot another thing. If they go through your link, they'll get a $500 discount on our service. So you guys, if you are watching this, you have to go through Mitch's link so you can get that $500 discount. Otherwise, you'll be paying full price. But with the membership giveaway that we're doing, we are basically just pulling random people who enter the giveaway through our YouTube channel. And if you guys want to get information about that, you have to go through Mitch's link, and then you'll be able to get more information about the $500 discount and also the giveaway. But we're pulling from like 1,000 people every month, and we're picking 2 winners, and we're announcing it online that way.
All right. So now there's a whole bunch of reasons to go to this link. You got a chance to learn how you get your 2, maybe be one of those 2 free memberships every month for a year. You can take your credit score range, and they can have that consult, and they can kind of tell you where you sit and how much you could get your hands on and how fast or how slow or whatever. And I think, and then also to get the $500 discount. So that's a lot. So go over to 1000houses.com/fund now. Believe me, if you're a wholesaler and you don't go there, I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know what's wrong with you. I mean, maybe you need to try something else, because this is where the wholesaler needs to go so he can eventually work himself out of being a wholesaler and be like a real buyer, be the guy that you are getting wholesale things from. So, all right, my friends, this is Mitch Stephen with 1000houses.com podcast. I'd like to thank the audience for stopping by to get you some Mike Banks. I want you really, really, really to stop by and see him. I'd also like to thank my my sponsor, taxfreefuture.com. You won't believe what your financial advisors aren't telling you. We're going to tell you what they're not telling you. We're going to tell you why they're not telling you. We're going to tell you what to do about what they're not telling you, and then you can do with it what you want. But believe me, if you have a tax deferred or tax-free retirement fund, and you're not with taxfreefuture.com, you need to go listen to what they have to say. They can save you a lot of money, and you can do a lot of things in these retirement funds that you probably don't even know you can do. They're very lucrative. I paid $3,000 once upon a time to go to a seminar to take $250 to $1 million in an IRA in about 18 months, and it worked for me. So check it out. There's about 19 little video vignettes over there. This is Mitch Stephen. Yeah, right. Right. Well, believe me, it was work, and I was busting. You know, I was busting all the way. But the theory worked. You just had to work it. And I worked mine overtime, man. I was 24/7. I was so excited about the chance to get ahead that I didn't even want to sleep. You know what I mean? I could see it. I could smell it. It was like, I didn't care. You know, people say, aren't you tired? I said, hell no, I'm not tired. I'm ready to go find that next house and that next deal. I'm ready to go. I was watching my financial future just blossom, and I was higher than a kite, just on a natural high.
Yeah.
So, all right,
That's
man.
awesome.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Hope you see you down here soon. This is Mitch Stephen. We're out of here.